Hey there, what's up, bro? It's your bro, Mario Escobedo. And here I am doing a YouTube live session. Right now it is, let me see, hold up, give me a chance here. February the 17th, Sunday, February the 17th, about 10:40 at night. It's late. For me, this is late, but I have the day off tomorrow. And my daughters have the day off tomorrow, so we're making a family day of it. So we're all just kind of up and doing stuff. And I say, you know what? I'm gonna talk to my bros. Something I've been wanting to share with you for some time. It's one of my favorite things to share because I think it's so cool. And it has to do with the Hebrew meanings of the names of Samson and Delilah. And I'm just going to jump right into it because I think it's cool. And you're probably familiar with the story of Samson and Delilah. I'm planning to do a series on Samson, on the story of Samson, the life of Samson, stuff that we can learn from the life of Samson. Right now, I'm going through the Gospel of Mark, but I'm also preparing for some time, not too far in the future, to do some Bible study lessons for the Christian Bro Code YouTube channel on the life of Samson. Lots to learn there, stuff to do and stuff not to do. A lot more stuff not to do than to do, but either way, I'm going to be doing that pretty soon here on the Christian Bro Code YouTube channel. For now, I want to share with you some insights related to the names of Samson and Delilah in the Hebrew. Now, they're written right here. Here they are. This is what they look like. The top is Samson and the bottom is Delilah. Let me zoom in here, okay? I'm going to zoom in here. And you know what? Before I do that, no, that's fine. That's fine. We can do it this way. Okay, so here we have the name Samson. And remember that Hebrew is read from right to left. And below the name Samson, you have the Hebrew word for son. So in Hebrew, you would pronounce Samson Shim Shon, and you pronounce son Shemesh. Okay? Now, you don't have to know Hebrew to recognize, as you look at these letters, to recognize that these are identical letters right here. These three letters are identical. And the only difference between the name Shimshon, or Samson, and the word son, Shemesh, are these last two letters right here. What happens is that in Hebrew, these last two letters make not any word, but in this case, they make it a diminutive. What do I mean by that? Well, we have diminutives where we have, for example, the name Tom. A diminutive is Tommy. All right, that's a diminutive. So that's what's happening here with this Hebrew word, Shemesh, son. When you add the on, the vav and the noon, it makes it a diminutive. So in a sense, we might be able to say that the name Samson can mean something like little son, okay? And again, even if the name Samson isn't exactly based on the Hebrew word for son, Shemesh, I mean, there's no denying that these letters are identical and that an original Hebrew reader would have seen that and would have said, hey, what's going on there? And so more than likely, the name Samson is based on the Hebrew word for son. And so you think about son, you think about everything that implies: power, light, the ability to see, all those things. And you notice that that's what Samson really is in his story. He's powerful, but very ironically, by the end of his life, by the end of the story of Samson, he ends up with his eyes plucked out. So while the sun gives the ability to see, by the end of the story, Samson doesn't have the ability to see. What a great twist. Okay, so let me zoom out. And now what we've got down here is the name Delilah, how you read it in Hebrew from right to left again. Now, there's another word below it, this word right here. This is the Hebrew word Lila, okay? And you could see, again, just like in the case with Samson, that these letters are identical. So let's say that, for the sake of argument, that Delilah is not based on this word down here. At the very least, it looks a whole lot like it. And I think, again, an original Hebrew reader would have stopped there and said, this word, Delilah, this name, looks a whole lot like another one of our Hebrew words, the word Lila. Now, what's interesting, what is this word Lila in Hebrew? This is where things get really interesting for the story of Samson. The word Lila in Hebrew, which again looks a whole lot like Delilah, and maybe her name is even based on this Hebrew word. Of course, she was Philistine, but their languages are very similar. And this Hebrew word, check this out, and keep in mind what Samson means, or what his name is based on, son. This Hebrew word Lila is the word for night. That blows my mind. I just find that fascinating. I think that's fascinating that here you have a story of a man whose name is based on the word for son, who falls in love with the woman whose name is quite possibly based on the Hebrew word for night. You have a battle between the sun and the night. And we know how the story turns out, right? We know how the story turns out. But I just find this very interesting that as soon as Delilah is introduced to the story, I believe it's Judges chapter 15 when we first meet Delilah. A Hebrew reader would be going through this and be reading Shimshon. Shimshon probably have the word Shemesh, son, just, making that relation. And then as soon as they come to chapter 15 and they see the name Delilah, I think they would have picked up on the fact that it's very close to, if not based on, the Hebrew word for night, Lila. And I think they would have paused for a second and said, wait a minute. Got the sun and you've got the night. They can't mix. One is going to win and one is going to lose. And in this case, unfortunately, the night defeated the sun. I just think that's interesting. How this story, this is just a great literary device that we miss if we don't read the original Hebrew. And I'm not saying that we all have to, of course not, but we pick up on these little things and we say, wow, that's great. That's great writing, right? That's just great writing. And you understand now that as you progress through the story of Samson, you kind of get the sense that he's just on this path to darkness. Little by little, he's on this path to darkness. All the stuff that he does, he lies to his parents, he goes with prostitutes, he does things that he shouldn't do based on his Nazirite vow. He's just progressing in this path of darkness until eventually he has an encounter with the night and he gives in to the night, and eventually the night overcomes the sun. I just find that fascinating. And there are a whole bunch of those little gems hidden in the Hebrew text that just really make the story take on a whole different dimension and a whole different meaning. So I hope you find that interesting. That's really all I wanted to share with you. The Hebrew meanings of Samson and Delilah, and how the meanings of their names based on the Hebrew contribute something to our understanding of the story. Again, I just find that very, very interesting. Be on the lookout for, like I said, the Bible study I'll be doing sometime. I don't have a time frame at this point, but on the life of Samson, because I've learned a lot from the life of Samson, just the book of Judges as a whole. But be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, check out the Bible study that I'm doing on the Gospel of Mark, where I'm on this journey to discover what it is to be a disciple of Jesus and how to grow as a disciple of Jesus. All right, that's it for this live stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. Maybe you're watching on the replay. Thanks for watching. Give it a like, thumbs up, leave a comment, ask a question, share it with others. That's it for now, bro. God bless. See you next time in the next one.